Hey, this is Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. If you have not already done this, please like and subscribe the channel somewhere on this video and let's get started. So, today we're going to be talking about the 7 reasons for emergency funds when it pertains to family and dependent security. Now, I'm going to tell you a quick story. How many of you know that if you have a family or you have dependents that rely on you, you need to have some form of security set in place? No, I'm not talking about your alarm system. No, I'm not talking about um, your insurance for if someone breaks into your house, even though that's important. What I'm talking to you about right now is the emergency fund. And for the next few minutes, I'm going to talk to you about why you need to focus on emergency funds as a part of your investments. Without further ado, let's get started. Now, one of the reasons why you want to have an emergency fund is real simple. How many of you, raise show of hands, raise your hand, type a one in the chat, say that's me, whatever you want to do, have gone to the doctor and before you know it, you've had a prescription that needed to be filled, or you had to pay a copayment, or you had some unexpected medical bill that came due. And a lot of times, your insurance companies really don't tell the doctors how much they're going to actually cover. And so, even after you pay that $30 copay or whatever your copay is, you get a bill in the mail saying, hey, you owe us another 100, 200, $300, depending on your deductible. And a lot of times that comes unexpected. So the first reason why I always suggest that you need an emergency fund, which is basically your expenses times 3 to 6 months of those expenses set aside in a what I like to say life happen fund, is so that you don't have those unexpected bills. Now, the second reason is job loss protection. Now, we laugh when we talk about a piggy bank. And most of you, your piggy bank is your checking account, maybe a savings account, maybe a money market account. For some of you, it might be credit cards, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But what it does, having an emergency fund allows you to keep your family stable during the income disruptions. Because, hey, we just had a government shutdown. Now there might possibly be another one in a couple of days. Actually, in about 3 days, because it's the 27th right now. I want you to think about something. If you work for the government, you're in the military, you are a contractor of a governmental contract company, or you provide services to the government, you would want to be able to have funds readily available so that if the government stops paying for however long, the last time was 40 some days, you can still manage and take care of your responsibilities. The next thing is we're going to use a coat of armor. Now, as a coat of armor, we know that in the medieval times or in warrior times, depending on what you like in history, they wore these coats of armor, or for us who wear body armor, they wore this to prevent being stabbed or shot. Now, for you, y'all want you to think about your coat of arms as care for your dependents, whether it be your children, whether it be your elderly parents or grandparents or aunts and uncles, a special needs child. Um, what this does, having an emergency fund allows you that wiggle room to have some protection, that coat of arms. Housing stability. It's going to prevent evictions or foreclosures during emergencies. So there's a lot of people that live paycheck to paycheck. And because they haven't set aside this money for emergencies, when America gets a cough, they get pneumonia, meaning that they're one paycheck away from being homeless or unhoused or displaced. So I want you to think about this for a second. Most people, we pay our mortgages in the rears, unless you rent. What it means in the rears is that the month has already passed and then you pay the actual mortgage. So you get to effectively live in your house for at least 30 days before you have your first mortgage. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. What happens if you stop getting money on a regular basis for a month or 2 months? Before you know it, you could be in foreclosure or having to do a short sale. So this happened a lot during the 2000s because people weren't prepared. I want you to think about you being in a situation where you want your housing to be stable. Then some of you, a lot of us, have had this happen to us, including yours truly. We don't avoid those high interest debts, those credit cards. So let's say that you say, and I've had clients tell me, well, I don't have an emergency fund, but I got credit. Well, that might not be the best thing for you. You see, credit cards come with higher interest rates. Payday loans tend to be due every payday. And once you get in that cycle, you end up having to continue to pay and pay absorbent fees. So I want you to think about that if you're saving and you put money away 3 to 6 months, some of you maybe a year. If you put that money away, you've protected your family and your assets from having to sell early or having a situation where you need to do what we call a runoff on your investments because you have literally no liquid cash. We know that it gives you a peace of mind. Now, when we talk about a peace of mind, woosah, I'ma stay, I'ma be calm, I'm breathing, box breathing, whatever it is that you do. What it allows you to have, though, is confidence of knowing that any emergencies that happen, it won't derail your financial plan. Now, we talk about the financial positioning system, which is a financial planning software that helps you right now keep track of what you're doing financially. But you have to use it. And most people don't have a plan. We often say people don't plan on failing, they just fail to plan. It allows for you to be responsible when it comes to your legacy. See, you're able to protect those who rely on you most. And most of you, in most cases, have people that depend on you. I can give you a short story. Now that my father is graduated and went on back in March, coming up to be a year in March 15th to be exact, I still have a responsibility to my wife, my children, my mother, my brother, my sister, as a senior figure in the family. It's my responsibility to make sure that the legacy moves on. And I'm telling you that a lot of times people say, well, I got life insurance, but they don't have an emergency fund. What if it takes a little while for the death certificate to get to you before you can actually provide the payment to the funeral um, home or to the crematory or to take care of final bills or things of that nature? A lot of times, if you just had an emergency fund in place, while you were waiting on the distribution of the life insurance or the money from the retirement or the will to be um, distributed through the state or the trust through the attorney, whatever you have set up, that legacy could be not rushed, but could be taken care of because you had the emergency fund set in place with the right beneficiaries, of course. Look, this is Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. I want you to build your emergency fund today. You can either go to my website, truenorthadvisoryllc.com, or you can scan this scan code and you can take action directly at my website where we can actually set up a time to talk through one of the video means or by telephone, and let's see if we can get you started. Look, Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. This is for educational purposes only. Please like and subscribe my channel, and I look forward to talking to you and seeing you on the beaches of the world. God bless.